Hi, America. Welcome to Angel and the Wiz.
Yes, indeed. I've marked down when your 2-year anniversary is.
Dead. It's show 104, right?
You think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But,
52 plus 52 is 104.
I know, but in any event.
Although there were a couple shows that... Is that shows that I've taped? Because there were a
Yes,
couple
there
weeks
always
where I
ends.
didn't
Right.
tape.
Your shows always have an end
Okay.
on the...
Cool. So
Pardon me.
this is show 95.
It's show
Almost
95.
to 2 years.
Almost a 2
Holy
years.
smokes.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I want to start someplace because there's something that I wanted to say, and I wanted to, so okay, just bear with me a second.
Okay.
I have a website called wizardtv.com,
Yes.
and it's up, and if you have a website, it has to be on a server so that people can access it. And I just realized the other day that I've been with Lazy Lizard, I guess their internet server provider, something like that. I don't even know what it's called, isn't that great? But they're called Lazy Lizard. Now, I'm the wizard, so it was wild to me to find them. When Lazy Lizard, the guy recommended, I think, a B&H photo. And I've been with them for 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought, wow. And the thing that really threw me off was that I've known this gentleman, Jonathan, and the gentleman that works for him, Enza, which I'll tell you about in a minute. I'm nothing. You know, I'm itsy bitsy, teeny weeny. I mean nothing to anybody. I am so insignificant. And this gentleman and Enza, these people have been so nice to me for the whole time. And when I have a problem, you know, I'm a user. I'm not a tech guy. I mean, I could do a lot of stuff, but I'm not a user. So when a guy like me, Mr. Insignificant, comes to a company, you kind of figure how you're going to be treated. And that's not how I've been treated. And for 13 years I've been with these people, Jonathan and Enza and stuff, and the people that are there at Lazy Lizard, and they've always treated me really nice. And so I wanted to send a special hello to you, Jonathan and Enza. This is an embarrassing story about her, but I'll tell you in a second. But because I believe that when people do good just because they're good, they need to be, needs to be seen, it needs to be appreciated. So and listen, they do real big stuff with real people, you know, with people that matter. You know, I mean, I'm just this tiny little guy, and I pay my bill, you know, I mean, just like everybody else, you know, but it's a very little bill, you know, and yet every time I call up or every time I send in a support request, they're there. He's there. I think it's him. I think Jonathan is just a decent, nice guy, and obviously the people that work with him reflect that. You know, I mean, now sometimes when I write in, I get Jonathan direct. He's the man, and sometimes I get Enza. Well, for the past as many years as Enza's been writing to me, for some reason, I don't know where I got it from, Enza sounds like a guy's name. So all this time I thought I'd been writing to a guy. Praise God, I've always been good. Because Jonathan says to me the other day, she's got to get with Italian. Enzo is a guy, Enza is a girl. So, oh my God. So Enza, Princess Angel, I'm really sorry about that. But I had no idea because you don't talk. You know, it's all email. You don't know. You can't. I bet you if I saw her handwriting, I know it was a girl because girls have nice handwriting.
Usually, I've seen some chicken scratch.
You know, but so.
I've seen my sister's handwriting, and I'm like,
really?
You ain't from this family.
We don't know who you are.
We don't write that like that.
Right? So anyway, I wanted to thank them on air because they really helped me with an email problem. And you know, nowadays, email
is the thing.
Is important.
Have you thought about redesigning your website?
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? I built it on, I forget what it's called. I had a software that I built it on. And it's not loaded here. It was loaded on a different computer, and it was one of the kind of things where you would build it and then send it up, and it did all that automatically. And NetObjects Fusion, that was the software that I used, and you're supposed to be able to capture the website and bring it down. I don't have anything that I can build from, and if I was to redo it, I would have to redo it completely.
Maybe that could be a project we work on over the summer months.
Okay. The problem is a lot of the stuff, I don't know, a lot of the pictures and stuff that are up there, I'll have to send Jonathan an email and ask him, how do I take down all the stuff that I got up there so I can put it on a new website, you know?
Sometimes sometimes it's just changing, you know, when you redesign it, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to take everything off. The stuff is still there, the layout might be different.
Yeah, but you got to have that. I don't.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's on another computer that is probably in Belgium by now, or under 6 months of.
Got it.
So anyway, that's what I want to say. So Lazy Lizard, thank you, Jonathan, thank you, Miss Enza, and everybody else, and thank you for being nice to me. And I want to say something. If anybody there goes that watches this show, any one of you 5 that watch this show.
But we had 6, I think.
6 maybe?
Maybe
Okay.
6.
Whoever goes, if you go to Lazy Lizard for web service or server, be courteous. Because I try to be courteous. And I think it's very important to be courteous, because if you're courteous to people, it allows them to be courteous back to you.
Yes,
Okay?
it
And if you
does.
come in as a gangbuster, who needs you? I mean, really, you know, that's okay. So now in a little bit, we're gonna spend time with Angel now, and we're gonna go to the campaign that she forced me to start. Here, this is her new logo that she devised for us. So, and what we're gonna do is every time we go to the political part of the campaign part of the show, we'll have a special wipe that goes through, and we'll throw the logo up and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we're gonna meet that. But and next week's show, for those of you that watch us on Wednesdays in New York City on Channel 2, 4 p.m. February 20th is the day I was adopted. This is my 64th anniversary. That's show 96, and that's what we'll start with next week. Now, tell me about your weeks. I heard that you didn't have the best weeks.
I didn't. I had an emotional break. Anyway, here's how it started. So the day after we taped, last time we taped, I got home and I noticed there's some funny behavior with Gandalf. And you guys remember Gandalf? He was here a couple years ago.
I have his picture.
Yeah, and so I had to rush him to the emergency vet, and it turns out he had a urinary tract infection.
Okay.
Again, and so they had to. They were going to have to keep him for a while. Well, I don't have a lot of money. You know, I'm at the emergency vet, so it's going to cost some money. And they were very nice to me. I've been with them for years. So they said, well, we'll be able to put you on a payment plan.
Okay,
that's great.
That's important.
I appreciated that. And they said, as long as his diagnosis remains, as we just have to monitor him until, you know.
Until he's better.
Yeah, urinary catheter. You know, they have to do that. They have to get release the blockage, and then and watch him for 24, 48 hours.
Okay.
I said, okay. So I was looking at the most a week of him being in the hospital. Nothing major.
Right.
Then I get a phone call Wednesday. It was early Wednesday morning, which scares me. When the vet calls, it's like
not good.
Yeah, your heart drops. I mean, it just drops.
Okay.
And they said, well, we've got this problem. The catheter is stuck.
Oh, okay, great. Just great memories. Thanks a lot.
I said,
go girl.
How?
How's it get
And
stuck?
they said, well, the urethra is very tiny in a specific area, and that's often what causes these infections.
Okay.
And that sometimes the swelling is so bad that the catheter gets stuck.
Okay.
And they said, you know, the problem is that it's not in the bladder, and it's not out, so we have to somehow remove the catheter. So they actually had to do surgery.
Oh God.
So he goes, we have to do emergency surgery and cut off.
Okay.
Let's just say that it's taking being neutered to the next level.
Okay.
He's all male on the inside and nothing to show for it on the out.
Okay.
Anyway, so they said it's going to cost about
$1
grand
million,
total about $5,000.
Oh God!
You know, and that's grand total anesthesia, surgery.
Yeah, but that's drugs. A lot. That's like
it's a lot of money. So I don't have that, and so they said, well, you're on a payment plan, but you have to give us more than what you had given. And I said, well, I don't have
more to give.
More to give, and so they said, look, the honest truth is, you know, we trust you and stuff, but with a surgery like this, we need, you know, with any surgery, we need to have more than that. So and so I called my parents up in hysterical tears because without the surgery, he's going to die.
Right.
And my mom lent me $2,000. Eternally grateful for her. I'm paying her back.
Right.
But so I'm like, so I felt like a failure, you know?
Right.
Like, here I am, I have to borrow money from my parents to save the life of one of my cats.
Right.
And I, you know, talk
And
about...
no guarantee it won't happen again.
No, this will pretty much fix the issue.
Oh, okay.
There shouldn't be any more problems.
How can you go to the restroom?
They create a new hole.
Okay.
So anyway, so I'm feeling pretty bad,
Right.
like just down.
Right.
But so then my mom starts out on this. Bless her heart. She's does this, gives me the money, and so that covers the down payment, or the deposit, or whatever you want to call
Whatever
it.
you wanna
and then
call
I'm put back on a payment plan, and which is fine. I'm very eternally grateful for the vets because they know me, they're patient, they understand situations.
Hey, you're a steady customer
and
to them.
Yeah, they know that. It's.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
you don't
going
want to lose
anywhere.
your cat.
So my mom tells me, she goes, honey, these animals can't live forever, and there's certain things, and then she's going on, and what she's pretty much just saying is that at some point, you have to
let 'em go.
choose.
Right.
And I told her, and I was very calm about I was very blunt too. I said, I am not going to let my cat die because he can't pee.
Right.
That was what was happening. Urinary tract infections are common in male cats
Right.
because their
Sometimes the
urethra
litter
is small.
causes it, too.
Yeah, sometimes the litter, sometimes the water, sometimes the food. It just sometimes stress. It just happens.
Right.
And she said, and I said, I'm not going to let him die because he can't pee, because that is a solvable issue.
Problem, right? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I said he can die from cancer, heart failure, seizures,
Right.
diabetes,
Right.
like
Any number of things.
give him things that are beyond. He can't pee.
Right.
It's a fixable issue because I
Right.
have another cat,
Right.
Manny, who.
Right.
5 years ago had a very similar problem. We took care of that, and
Right.
he has not had any issues since then, ever again. So I can't really, complain or it's a procedure that works. So she kind of was like, okay, well, let's back off of this topic. So I'm like, so I'm still feeling pretty down because I had to borrow money from my parents.
It's something
anyway,
that happens. Let me tell you.
It happens, yeah. And I just felt.
Yeah, you don't
I
want to
felt
really
like,
do that.
I felt like a failure. Like, where did
Sure.
I go wrong in my life?
That's right.
That it came to this.
Okay.
So
That's why you have parents. Parents don't.
Well-
Some parents don't realize it's a forever job.
So it gets better.
Okay.
Not better. It gets So then a couple days later, my sister finally has her baby,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden it just
First
hit
child
me.
or
First
third?
child.
Okay.
First child. My other sister who lives up north, and it just hit me like I became really overwhelmed with. I'm gonna call it jealousy, but I can't really say that it was jealousy. But she's married. She owns a condo with her husband. She loves her job.
Envy.
Envy maybe, and she's got a child, and maybe it's envy, but where she is in her life is
Right.
where I
Like
want
you
to
had
be.
always hoped you would
Yeah,
be.
where I want to be.
Right.
And I was
Depressed even more.
yeah. So not only do I feel like a failure.
Don't drink.
Yeah, not only did I feel like a failure because I was having financial issues and I
Right.
had to borrow money from my parents, but
Right.
now like I felt like a super failure.
Right.
Like, really, where did I go? So then I call my boyfriend and I'm trying to explain this to him and he's not getting it, and I
Right.
just finally dropped the topic.
Right,
and
right.
So I'll never
He's
mind.
not the most absorbent that way.
No. So then so I'm like
He's
so now I
gotten
have
hardened up.
so now I've got like I'm feeling like a super failure. I don't want to call
You can't release
anybody
it.
in my family because
Right.
they're part of the whole baby celebration.
Right.
And so I'm like just doing my best to keep myself composed. And then
Right.
here walks in my roommate.
Right.
God bless his soul. He's
Right.
like, "How was your day today?" And I was like, "Ah." And so surprisingly, I kept the hysteria down to
To a minimum, right.
Yeah, but I explained he was so nice, and just like and let me just talk. And he finally said at the end of it, he goes, "You didn't do anything wrong."
Right.
And I said, "Okay." And then he goes, "You cannot put a timeline on life."
Right.
And I said, "Well, I didn't really put a timeline." He says, "No, you subconsciously put a timeline because, or it came back because of this baby."
Oh, in other words, you expected to be at a different place now in your life.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and he
you
says
can't do that. Life isn't like
he
that.
says you cannot put a timeline on life, and
Life has its own way of
yeah,
deciding
and
some
I
things.
talk about calming me down
Good.
almost instantly. I could have given him a hug, and I kept my, you know, because
No, you want to be careful anyway.
But yeah,
I don't know if I could live with a girl. You know what I mean? I mean, and live with a girl, unless I really did not find her attractive. I think it would be tough.
I think that it's, you know, I'm in a relationship and I am
And you have that.
and I'm secure in my
Okay,
relationship.
that's good.
Yeah.
Good for
and
you.
I told my boyfriend, I said, you know, because I talk about my roommate a lot to him,
Right.
not because
You must love that.
yeah, and not because I'm like there's although there's a little jealousy issue there too on his part, but
Right.
not because I want to make him jealous, but because there's, you know, here are things I can talk about. My job,
Right.
my nephew,
Right.
my cats,
Right.
or the roommate who is the fresh thing in my life.
Right.
You know. And
But in June, you guys are going in together, right?
yeah, so we'll be living
Okay,
together.
that's important.
yeah. But anyway, do we have enough time? Okay. Yeah.
No, we're going.
So anyway, so that was like my big moment with, like, enlightening moment, and then I realized, and then I just kind of did further reflection, and I realized that the last 4 or 5 months I was very angry.
Right.
I felt like a very angry person, and
How come?
I don't know why. I don't really know why. It's so hard to. I just felt angry.
Right.
What I feel now is calm. I get frustrated.
Right.
And like we were out and about today, and
Hey, your nails look nice.
yeah, I polished them. But anyway, we were out and about today and dealt with large crowds, and there was like some true stupidity, and but in the grand scheme of things, like stupidity on other people's parts, and I remained a fairly pleasant tone. I would
Right.
complain a little bit about, like, why are these people letting these kids climb on this wall here, you know, but
Because they have no concept.
anyway, so I was very calm about it.
So-
But anyway, back to Gandalf.
Right.
Because we had, before we started taping, we had a little bit of a liquid spill.
Right.
And there was some.
And I got upset
Language.
because they
Yeah.
were there.
So-
This is an electronic environment,
Yeah.
and we don't really see these cups. They have lids. Nothing comes in the studio without a lid. That's why, and it worked.
It worked. So anyway, so Gandalf has to have a special litter box right now because
Right.
he's got sutures in that area.
Yeah, right.
And so it's called Yesterday's News, which is a special type of litter. So it's clunky. It's
Right.
huge, like looks like huge chunks of
Right.
I don't know what foam pieces, but it's
Right.
not really foam because anything smaller can get stuck in these sutures
Oh,
and cause
sure,
more
gotcha.
infection.
Okay, right,
so he's
right.
got to have the larger stuff. Well, he doesn't like the larger stuff.
I bet.
And he also has to have an open litter box, which he doesn't like because he's got the cone on his head.
Right.
And he can't get in with the cone. He can't get into the lidded litter boxes.
right.
So I actually went to the supermarket and got one of those foil roasting pans.
Right.
And put this new litter in there and just set it down.
Right.
He's not a fan of
Right.
that at
Right.
all. So
Is he using it? Okay.
he tries to use it, but
Right.
he's just not a fan of it. So he
Right.
goes next to it.
All right.
And he only goes between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m.
Right.
And he's secluded in the master bedroom, master bathroom
Right.
because of the other various
Kitties.
diseases.
Right.
Yeah, I have
That
the
he
feline
could be exposed
leukemia
to. Right,
and
right,
feline
right.
AIDS. He can't really, with the open wound and the sutures, he
Right.
can't really be exposed to that,
Right.
which I get, and I'm okay with that. And anyway, so between midnight and 5 a.m., I wake up to
Okay.
the smell of urine
Oh, great.
and poop.
24, 26.
And it's on my bathroom floor.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and it's just, so I'm talk about like cleaning up a
Right,
mess.
right.
And sometimes because he doesn't have his balance really well, and it's even thrown off more with the cone on his head, so he
Right.
loses that visual aid a little bit. So he sometimes like falls in it. So then
Right.
not only do I have like a urine covered bathroom floor, I have also a urine covered cat too
You gotta
that is
clean
now
that, too.
walking between the bathroom and the master bedroom. And
Oh, God. Princess.
yeah. So today Gandalf got a bath.
I bet.
And I have one of those standing showers, and I turned the shower on, and I took his little cone off, and I
Right.
just put him in the shower and closed the door.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, poor baby," but
Right.
he needed to be
Wow.
fixed. And then I took him out and dried him off with a towel, but it was cold, because I didn't. The heat wasn't on.
Right.
And so he was shivering, like
Oh,
shaking
right,
and
right, right.
trembling. So I actually had to blow dry him.
Well, he must be fluffy now. He must look fluffy.
So my roommate walks by. So I have like the bedroom door open because I'm
Right.
trying to air it out because it smells like whatever.
Right.
And Gandalf's not going anywhere. And so my roommate walks by and I'm bending over this cat laying in a bed with my blow dryer, and he goes, and he just stops and he goes, I really don't want to know.
Yeah, right.
So
I bet.
anyway,
Well,
sorry. That's my
well, Princess.
stuff that's
Brenda.
happened in the last couple weeks.
Well, and I'm sorry to hear it, and
But I feel better now. I don't feel much like a failure. I feel happier.
well,
I've
you
been-
don't want to feel pray when everything. I mean, I'm sorry. That's
I-
something you have to decide yourself.
Yeah.
Me, anything, whether things are great or not, I pray. I put everything. The Lord is happy to take anything off of your shoulders. I mean, because His are big,
Yeah.
macho.
I'm afraid it's gonna take Gandalf off of my shoulders.
Well, and I was
Gandalf's
going to
not
say,
ready
you're
to
gonna,
go.
you're gonna. It's not a question if he's ready to go. It's a question if Mommy is ready to go.
No.
Mommy is willing to let him go. Now, listen.
I told my boyfriend. I said, when Gandalf passes, I
Yeah.
said, you better be ready because
Yeah, I know you're
I'm
gonna
gonna be a mess.
Well, and the thing you have to.
And
keep-
I'm okay with it. Like
Okay.
I'm okay as long as it's because he can't. It's not because he can't pee. Do you know what I mean?
Well, whatever.
Like,
I mean, the thing that you want to keep in mind is you're dumping all this money. You could end up paying, and he might be passed away for 2 years, and you'll still be paying it.
right. And I'm
I
okay
mean,
with
and-
that
and-
because that
and
made
that's-
him. That
well-
allowed him a longer.
Well, and
Life.
that's what we got to hope. We got to hope
Yeah.
that there's no complications that now come out of this. Believe me, I'm going through the same
He's
thing
already-
myself.
He's already lived. It's 2 years. It'll be 2 years tomorrow.
Okay.
2 years
Longer.
than what they told me he would live. They said
Right.
you'll be lucky if he lasts 6 months.
Right.
And
So he's
it's,
getting even with you.
yeah, and it's been 2 years. It's to the point where the doctors are just kind of like,
It's because you
need
love him,
more
obviously.
Okay, yeah, I take
Obviously,
care of him.
it's been that
So,
love and support that has really kept him.
anyway.
Princess, I am terribly, terribly sorry to see you go through that. And believe
There's
me,
no reason for you to apologize.
no, but
Lesson
but I
learned,
because
though.
I
There was
feel
a lesson that was learned there.
yeah, but
I'm
I
glad
still
I had that.
well yeah, well that's a good way to get some out of it. But I still feel for you. I would feel for anybody that has to go through. You have any idea? And I'll share this because you have no idea what I go through at work when I see things and people and
Oh, I have an idea.
oh, you know what I mean? It's
I
I
know.
mean it's so yeah, I mean I care and there's I'm saying there's nothing I can do about it. There's no way I can be of any help. And believe me, you don't even have to tell me what's going to happen when you lose your cat because I just know what it's going to be like. It's going to be a horrible, horrible
yeah.
thing. And I don't
But
wish
I'll
it
tell you
on
this, I'm reading a book called The Happiness Project, and
Okay.
I highly recommend it. And
We have a minute and a half.
it's about a woman who is generally a happy person,
Mhm.
but she felt that she could become happier, and she wanted
Right.
so she wanted to know ways to become happier, and she does a different. She focuses on a different thing every month,
Okay.
and some of it's simple things like decluttering your house, and
Right.
and then she does a month on
And then you get the
relationships.
satisfaction from
Yeah,
that, right?
and then she does like a thing on relationships and children and your job, and I'm only it's one of those books where you read it and you read a couple chapters and then you have to put it down for a little bit to just really soak in what was written and what you read, and then in a couple weeks you pick it back up.
Right.
But I've implemented some of the things. I've tried to I reorganized my office. In my office, I'm a happier person in my office.
Okay.
I've
Good,
started
good,
throwing.
good,
I
good.
started going through my clothes in the closet. I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. I'm holding to a routine. So anyway,
well, listen.
I recommend it.
No, well, listen. We have about
Sorry I took so long.
12
everybody.
seconds. No. See, listen, the people that watch this show care about your cats just like, they
This
care
crazy
that
cat
you made
lady.
me run for president.
Okay, do something good every day, and volunteer at your local animal shelter.
Okay, and join us next week when we are going to we're going to do the campaign and other stuff. Oh!
One America built by individuals. Wiz for president 2016.
Okay, and we're going to go to a song called When I Was Young with Legolas, Greenleaf Field. I was alone, I didn't know why. I was out on my own, You're on your own, wondering why. Afraid that love's about to pass you by. Remember, there are roads to choose, and only by not trying do you lose. So